students are investing, in some cases, hundreds of thousands of dollars in college degrees. And will these jobs be available for them by the time they graduate? Or will they become obsolete with AI?
You don't need to go to college and saddle yourself with six-figure debt to be a six-figure person. How does the next generation of workforce find a way to get in that river with that progress so they can help control it, manage it, earn from it?
So the World Economic Forum, they highlight 15 jobs, the largest growing jobs, and the 15 jobs that are the largest declining jobs. Some of them surprised me. Whether your job will be sustainable into the future, whether your career has a future, is so closely connected to what we're seeing in the global economies. Hey everyone, we are back with episode 2 of season 3 of Leadership and Motivation Unleashed. Today we are going to tackle a topic that lots of people have been bringing up to me recently, maybe because I have children in college. They and their friends are thinking, what do I want to be or what do I want to do when I grow up? Which majors will be sustainable? With all this talk about AI, and AI is going to be a theme. Apologies if you're tired of hearing about it, but it's here whether we like it or not. Which jobs should we be encouraging this next generation to pursue?
Wait, what did you say? Sorry, what?
Sorry if you're tired of hearing about AI, because it's just here whether we like it or not. We like it, but some people are sort of like, "Arr."
Yeah, right.
But it's affecting everything we do if you're in the world of work. So students are investing, in some cases, hundreds of thousands of dollars in college degrees. And will these jobs be available for them by the time they graduate? Or will they become obsolete with AI? And how do we look in our crystal ball? I actually purchased a crystal ball for myself.
I hope they keep this part of the video. I love her crystal ball.
So I'm always saying, if I could predict if I had a crystal ball. So I'm like, I should actually buy a crystal ball. And I went on Amazon and bought one.
I have to interrupt you and say, she gets it right 99%. It's actually uncanny. Like,
I can see into the future. I'm not right all the time, but I try not to.
Pretty good.
I try not to say things or predict things if I don't really have a sense. Anyway, that crystal ball is a lot heavier than it looks, but it's a fun prop that I bring out a lot in conversations. So if we had a crystal ball, right, when you start college, and maybe the first year or two are exploring and taking all kinds of courses to decide where your passions are. But if you're going to be a computer science major, or you're majoring in data analytics, or somebody told me the other day that they were studying to become an actuary. So I don't know. I mean, actuaries do a lot of statistical calculations to underwrite insurance plans, and they predict how likely somebody is to die at whatever age, and that's how they decide how to price your life insurance. That's a highly oversimplified explanation of what they do. I'm sure they do a lot more. But how much of that job will still exist, or will it be automated, or just be able to be performed by an LLM or by a robot? So, Patrick, what are your thoughts on that?
I think I've said on a prior podcast that college has always been an interesting topic for me. I mean, I'm actually overeducated for a guy who was never a fan of education. So I'm almost not the right person to ask, but I obviously have an opinion like I do on most things. And I would say, I think if it's a trade school or the military where you learn a job or a trade or a mission orientation, or you go to university or a college, 2-year or 4-year, whatever the environment is, I don't think you should go unless you're going to use what you're going there for. I mean, the dollar amounts that are in the public's eye now, the yoke of debt that so many people carry around. And to your point, they went and did all this work and time and probably partied and had a good time. And now they have these huge loans and they don't have a job to show for it that matches what they went to school for. Or if it does match what they do, they can't afford to live because the schools took your money, taught you what they taught you, but it doesn't equal anything in the real world. Some of the best employees I've had over my career are people who didn't even have college.
Yeah.
They just had great work ethic and they were self-taught. Now, I love these studies. Well, it shows if you have a college degree, you make X% more than a person with just a high school diploma. And well, There's dozens and dozens and hundreds of stories out there of people who, hell, some of them didn't even finish high school and they're multimillionaires. I mean, I don't know if those are diamonds in the rough or the needle in the haystack, but I think with today's modern workforce, you just need to be naturally curious. And if it's parents or if it's grandparents or friends pushing really young people into curious things that they could learn about to manipulate technology, to become part of technology's ecosystem, because it used to be technology would become part of the human ecosystem. It's the other way around now.
Mhm.
We need to become part of the technology ecosystem, as scary as that sounds. I mean, if you listen to the congressional hearings, which I know I'm boring, and sometimes I do. Sometimes I actually find C-SPAN on the internet, whether it's on YouTube or whatever, and these obscure committee hearings that are happening on technology. There's some really smart people appearing in front of Congress. And by the way, I don't think Congress people are all that smart. They're tools to another thing. But these people that come before them to talk about these really crazy things that are happening, you can learn a lot. And autonomous machines that can think on their own, yes, they were programmed at some point, but they become aware. Like, I know it sounds like a Star Trek show, but it's happening. How do today's youth, how does the next generation of workforce find a way to get in that river with that progress so they can help control it, manage it, earn from it? How do you monetize it? And I don't see universities and colleges and keeping up with that. And I'm also going to say, I think we're always going to need plumbers
Oh,
and
yeah.
welders and da 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 da. You can drive to North Fort Worth. Now, look, the joke about Texas is the state bird of Texas is the crane. It's not, by the way. But there's so many Manitowoc and Holt cranes across the landscape of buildings going up here because it's a business friendly state, red state, all the stuff, no state tax, all the stuff that attracts businesses so they can make more, do more, have more freedom as Texas is booming. But North Fort Worth is data centers. And, my son and I drove to my wife flew because she doesn't do car trips for the world to know. So, my son and I drove to Colorado Springs for Christmas, met my wife there when she landed, blah, blah. When you drive from North Fort Worth up to, New Mexico, Oklahoma, Colorado corner over there, you just see sparks in the air. Sparks,
Wow.
sparks, sparks, as far as you can see. And you're like, sparks, what's he talking about? You talking about oil rigs? Yes, that too. Lots of flame on the horizon from natural gas being burned off or excess fuel being burned off from West Texas pumping that's going on. I'm talking about welders putting up iron and steel for data centers. It's so odd. You used to drive out to West Texas and it was oil and fracking and water trucks and that. Now it's data centers being built. AI requires a lot of data centers. What's inside a data center? Plumbing, welders, steel fitters, pipe fitters, blah, 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 brick masons. There's a lot of money to be made in that for people. You don't need to go to college and saddle yourself with six-figure debt to be a six-figure person.
Yeah.
And so when I say get in the river with technology, it's just not programming. It's not just figuring out ways to deploy Optimus into your workforce, the autonomous being that Tesla's creating. I'm talking about how do you help build the infrastructure for it?
Yeah.
So I think people should just choose wisely what their career pathing is. If that's not your thing, trying to master the chaos of a new world of artificial intelligence and machine learning, and you want to help be part of building the infrastructure of it, choose that. Now, there's good and bad to every career that you choose.
Yeah.
For me, my undergrad, I didn't even want to go to school. Do you guys remember the episode where I talked about that? I was in the military first. I joined the military at 17. Met some amazing human beings. Rachel's met some of them, which has been fun for her to meet these people that kind of mentored me and talked to me as a teenager, a late teenager. My mom made me go to school. How's that for an older guy to talk like that? And so I went to St. John Fisher in Rochester, New York, and I got the easiest degree I thought I could get, sociology. I'm a sociology major with a minor in criminal justice and a second minor of psychology, whatever the hell that means. And now I'm a business person for the last 29 years. And then I got my MBA because my stepdad said, you got to have an MBA, man. Like, go get it. And then US Bank sent me to banking school, and I did what I did at banking school for 3 years and got that diploma. And I think the MBA I use the most, but even jobs like mine are gonna change.
Yeah.
I don't know if CEOs or COOs are gonna be a thing in the future. Can a machine make these decisions? I'm not saying that's gonna happen. I'm just saying, like, I may be at the end of an era of these kind of jobs. So are you. Like, why do you need HR? Why can't AI do it? I don't mean the totality of HR. I mean, like, the generalist part of it, the stuff that the paperwork, the medical filings,
Yep.
the rule making, I'm not we have a lot of HR people listen because Rachel's like an HR queen and everyone loves hearing her. I'm like just the sideshow. So everyone
No.
in HR listening, I'm not trying to be ugly or rude. I promise. It's not going away. I'm just saying if you pick on that, I think we're at the end of the road that leads into a crossroad. I mentioned in episode 1 of season 3, like, do you go left or right?
Mm.
We're like Tom Hanks at the end of the movie where he was stranded on the island. Have you seen that movie, Rachel?
I have seen that movie. I don't remember anything about it, though.
At the end of it, it's actually really meaningful. Like he lost his wife because she thought he was dead because he was on an island for 5 years. He gets
Yeah.
rescued. He worked for FedEx, re returned a package that he held on to for comfort that went down in the airplane with him to a lady somewhere in Kansas, it looks like. And the movie ends with him with a map. For kids listening, there's such a thing as maps, not your phone, that you would actually unfold and it would have all the roads on it. And he's got the map on his hood and he turns around with the map and he looks left and he looks right and he looks at the road ahead of him and then the movie ends. I think that's where we're at in corporate America. I think that's where we're at in a lot of things, law enforcement, fire departments, not for profits. Like the next generation coming up behind Rachel and I, not to age us, Rachel's younger than me, by the way.
Oh, not by much.
Choose wisely. And if you listen to episode 1, whatever chaos you're going to choose to join, enjoy trying to master it. So if it's welding, which is a 6-figure job, by the way, everybody, do it because you want to do it. My sociology degree maybe helped me a little bit from a leadership perspective, but I took on a lot of debt and used the GI Bill on it because my mom wanted me to, because she didn't just want me to be a soldier and a pilot. Not that there's anything wrong with that. She wanted me to have something to fall back on. In her mind, that's what she said. Well, Patrick, what if flying doesn't work out? You need something to fall back on. Okay, how did my sociology degree help me with that? I don't know. I didn't make a lot of great decisions back then. So I think it's a decision making for the person and the family and the friends, and whether you make the amazing decision to raise your right hand and defend the Constitution of the United States and put the uniform on, and that becomes your career. And I've met a lot of great people that did that. Rachel has too. Great. You're doing the world, you're going to make the world better. But guess what? Look at all the drone warfare stuff that's going on. All the jobs that the Army and the Marine Corps and the Navy are out there pitching right now is AI. Almost every commercial's got drones in it or autonomous vehicles moving into combat. It's not people anymore.
Right.
So if you're going to go that route or all the other things I talked about, because you spend so much of your life doing it. I didn't do it that way. I kind of did it the backwards way. It worked out, obviously. But if you can, if you're fortunate enough to have the choice, man, pick something you're going to really kind of enjoy. And I say kind of because work is work. You don't say, honey, I'm home from fun today. You say, honey, I'm home from work today. It's work. So no matter what you pick, it's going to come with pain in the ass people, pain in the ass problems, pain in the ass this, pain in the ass that. But try to find something where more than 50% of the time you're going to smile at it. So I'll stop talking.
Yeah, no, I couldn't agree more. And I think whether you go the college route or you acquire your skills and knowledge in different ways, and there's so many other ways to learn that.
Really great ways to do it.
Yeah, I think a few things come to mind to me. First of all, something you said, Patrick, right? That general foundational knowledge, whether you acquire it through the military, through college degree, through a job, through a year volunteering in the Peace Corps, whatever you do, some of that generalized knowledge, maturity, smarts, ability to navigate, work ethic, develop a sense of responsibility, some of those will be the building blocks that will help you be successful. Even if the job that you do becomes obsolete, it will help you figure out what's next and pivot to whatever's next. People can have more than one career and more than one job in their life. And some skills, in order to prepare yourself for whatever's next, are not that complicated to acquire. So having that foundational generalized knowledge can be really helpful. When I was at Fidelity, Abby Johnson is the CEO of the company. Her grandfather started Fidelity. She is a really, really unique leader. She majored in art history.
Wow.
And she and a few other executives were bemoaning the trend of young adults who end up in college and specialize too fast, right? You end up becoming a computer scientist, a mechanical engineer, a financial analyst, or whatever it is you do. And then maybe that's all you know. And are we missing the opportunity to develop leaders that are broader thinkers, that can be curious in a lot of different directions and are more versatile to handle the change that we're experiencing? And so she actually championed an emerging leader program where we specifically hired graduates with liberal arts degrees. And the thinking was they spent a couple years studying philosophy, literature, whatever, taught them how to think. It taught them to be curious about the world. It taught them how to write. It taught them how to synthesize information in different ways. And so I wonder, again, that was a really successful program. It's obviously not the right fit for every single company. Not every company has the luxury to be able to do something like that. But, I wonder, as we're either starting out in our careers or thinking about what our next pivot might be, how can we monitor what's going on in the world? So following the news, and you don't have to be a news junkie like Patrick, where you know everything that's going on in every part of the world at the same time. And he knows I try and tune most of it out because it is so distracting that he'll be like, did you hear what happened? And I'm like, no, what? Because I'm like so heads down. Like towards the end of the day, I'll check some of the news headlines to make sure I didn't miss something crazy. But most of the time I try and tune it out. But on whether you're a news junkie or not, on the whole, open your eyes and look at what's going on in the world, because the jobs landscape, whether your job will be sustainable into the future, whether your career has a future, is so closely connected to what we're seeing in the global economies, in politics, in history, in manufacturing, right? Even what Patrick said about data centers. You might not be an AI, ML, analyst, but maybe you want to build the data center. So the jobs are there. Think about the adjacent opportunities that exist around you. And then there are also there's lots of reports that are published about the future of work. There are really smart scientists that study which career paths are likely to be sustainable and which ones will be replaced. And there are some trends, right? The U.S. government, the Bureau of Labor Statistics, releases a jobs report on the first Friday of every month. Take a look at that. It's public information. If you go to the Department of Labor, there's a site called onetonline.org. And we'll share some of these links in the show notes so that you can click on it. But the ONET site, and it's an O with like this little asterisk and the net, will show you can actually search by every job family, different geographies, and they have this little indicator called Bright Outlook. And they're actually studying the hiring patterns of different companies. They do all kinds of research and surveys to see who are the people in these jobs, who are the companies that are hiring them, and then they'll tell you which jobs are likely to exist into the future. So there are resources out there. And then look online on LinkedIn, look on Indeed, see the volume of advertisements for jobs in the area that you aspire to, even if it's a position that's 5 or 10 years ahead of you. Are there a lot? Are there a few? There are also some sites where you can look at trends. You can probably plug something into ChatGPT where you can say, what are the trends in terms of marketing manager jobs being posted in the financial services industry in New York City? Right. And they'll be able to tell you, are there 30% more than before, or has there been a decline? So there's a lot of information out there. I would really recommend that you almost imagine what the world will look like a few years from now and then see what's happening there, because you can pick up on some of this sounds very ominous, but the warning signs that the job that you're pursuing might not be there when you're ready to take it. So those are some things I would advise. Reinforcing what Patrick said, if you love what you do, even if it disappears, at least you'll have enjoyed your time, you'll have made some money, and then you can think about how to translate those skills into something else.
Amen.
Yeah. Should we leave everyone with some examples of some jobs that are expected to grow and decline by 2030?
Go ahead.
So the World Economic Forum, which is very timely because I think everyone who's anyone is in Davos now. But the World Economic Forum published a report. It is called the Future of Jobs Report 2025, the jobs of the future and the skills you need to get them. So It's a very long report. We'll link to it if you want to dig in. But some of the jobs on the list, and they highlight 15 jobs that are the largest growing jobs and the 15 jobs that are the largest declining jobs. Some of them surprised me. So here's a few on the largest growing jobs. Do you want to take a guess about
Go ahead,
some of them right there? Okay. Farm workers, laborers, and other agriculture workers is top.
Is growing?
Growing.
Yeah. Well, yeah, we got to eat.
Right? Exactly. Light truck or delivery services. Now, remember, you might not want to be a farmer, but you might, as Patrick said, want to choose an occupation that is adjacent to some of these growing areas. Delivery services drivers, right? I don't go to stores anymore. Everything comes to me, and somebody's got to drive it to my house until we can have drones that drop it on my roof. Software and applications developers, that's still a thing. We have noticed that some of the more junior roles are disappearing, but still the specialized applications developers, somebody needs to check the robot's code and make sure that it works. Building framers, finishers, trade workers, like you mentioned, drivers, nursing professionals, general operations managers, social work and counseling professionals, right? The mental health crisis is real. Project managers, right? These are very generalized skills that can be applied in multiple areas. University and higher education teachers, personal care aides, right? As we get older, until the robots are able to do that, we still need people to take care of us. So those are some that are growing. The ones that are declining, here's a few: cashiers and ticket clerks, right? Who's going to the movies anymore? Or you're buying your tickets on Ticketmaster and you're scanning in your phone if you're going to a game, right?
Yes.
Administrative assistants and executive secretaries. Those are declining, right? As we have more features to manage our calendars, to do our travel. Building caretakers, stock clerks, printing workers, accounting, bookkeeping, and payroll clerks. That one is interesting, right? Again, software is doing accountants and auditors.
Accounting. I was just going to say, you don't need them.
A lot of that work is being done by machines, right? It's like calculators on steroids, transportation attendants and conductors, right? Nobody comes and looks at your ticket anymore. We were in Europe a little while ago, and you scan your thing yourself. Like, long as the day when the Thomas the Tank Engine guy used to come up and down and say, tickets, tickets, tickets.
I remember growing up in upstate New York on the New York State Thruway.
Yeah.
And my grandparents' motel, the Cloverleaf Motel. If anyone's listening that's ever been to Fonda, Fultonville, New York, that was my grandparents' place. And the toll booths had people in them.
Yes.
I know it sounds weird to say it out loud, but like kids today are like, people. Well, that was their job. Like, they would be in this little blue and gray booth on the New York State Thruway and hand you a paper ticket.
Yeah.
You better keep track of it.
Right.
And then you hand it to the next toll booth, and then they tell you how much money you owe, and then you'd hand over cash.
Yes, you would.
And you built a relationship with them, particularly if you lived near one. And I remember in the late 80s, 90s, they all went away.
Well, you know why? I once read an article. So first of all, it's a really depressing job because you're locked in this tiny little booth, and most people are not friendly enough to develop a relationship with you. Like, they're being really rude to you.
You're right.
But also, I once read an article about how, like, the fumes that these people breathed in from just being exposed to
my story with all of this real life
I know,
stuff.
right? Sorry.
Cool job that
a few
people
more.
could do.
Yeah, but that's not a job anymore. Okay, a few more and then we're done because we're coming to time.
Yes.
This one you're going to love: data entry clerks, customer service workers. These are jobs that are going away because a lot of the basic data entry can be done by software. Now, again, some of the quality control still exists, but graphic designers, right? I mean, have you ever used Canva?
Yeah.
Business services managers, claims adjusters, examiners, and investigators, right? So a lot of the procedural types of positions are going away. Some of the trends I'm seeing on the green side are jobs that either we need to keep us alive. Like,
was nurses in there?
Nurses is growing. Yeah, nurses are growing. Nursing professionals are growing.
Tesla's down there. I say down there because I'm in Dallas-Fort Worth. There's a large Tesla facility south of here, and they're small medical procedures by Optimus. Stitches. Like an autonomous being doing your stitches.
Mm-hmm. It's probably more precise than a human. I mean, it's like a sewing machine, right? It's a sewing machine for people.
That's so brilliant. You need to patent that or somehow get your name on that somehow before we start make money off of it.
So we'll share these lists. Really, we're not here to discourage, right? No. This is just the normal and the natural. And So when you're looking at your job, think about, first of all, make sure you enjoy it and that you're enjoying it for as long as it lasts, and that you're thinking about developing some universal transferable skills and capabilities that you can take with you to whatever's next. And then keep your eyes open. Watch the signals and the cues as the world changes around us, and to make sure you're not on a path that won't be there by the time you arrive.
Amen. Bye, everybody. Good luck out
Bye.